Geneva Friday in a scramble to de-escalate the conflict, but the meeting concluded after 4 hours with no sign of an immediate breakthrough. On Wall Street, the Dow by 35 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
I'm an artist, and I'm in my studio. I listen to the radio all day, and I'm hearing the ads about Relief Factor. And I've got pain in my neck, and it's getting worse. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go ahead and order this. 2 weeks later, I've got much better range of motion. If you're experiencing pain at a certain point in life, I would get Relief Factor.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Third day. The original members reunited for the 30th anniversary tour, playing all the hits. With special guest Zach Williams. Tickets available Friday, June 27th at AwakeningFoundation.com. Third day, the 30th anniversary tour.
You just call my name.
An Awakening Foundation event.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Stocks drifted to a mixed close and a quiet return to trading following the Juneteenth holiday. The S&P 500 fell 0.2% to close a second straight week with modest losses. The Dow added 0.1%. The Nasdaq Composite fell 0.5%. Kroger jumped following the grocer's better-than-expected profit report, but Smith & Wesson fell after saying high interest rates and tariffs are pressuring its sales of firearms. Treasury yields held steady after President Trump said he will decide within 2 weeks whether the U.S. military will get involved with Iran. The Dow was up 35 points to 42,206. The Nasdaq lost 98 points to 19,447. The S&P 500 dropped 13 to 5967. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. For your
On-Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Summer is here. We'll have some increasing temperatures heading into next week. Tonight, low dips down to 74, while tomorrow and Sunday, highs of the mid-90s, a blend of sunshine and clouds, and a 20% chance we get an afternoon shower. Next week, very hot, highs around 100, the heat index approaching 110. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On-Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make The Point radio.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And welcome in, everybody. It's the Friday edition of Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Hope you've had a great day and you're looking forward to a great weekend. I know that we are, and you can work your way into the weekend by joining us here on Sports Talk. If you'd like tonight, our phone number, 888-898-2525 is how you can reach us. You can also send us a text message at 803-900-4847. I know that it is travel time, vacation time, so if you're leaving the state, you want to find us during the week, feel free to check us out on our various streams, our stream on X, our stream on YouTube. Sign up for our YouTube channel and give us a follow on X. If you prefer Facebook, we're there as well. All kind of ways to follow and keep up if you leave and you're not able to find one of the great radio stations that carry us across the state of South Carolina. We want to keep you wherever you happen to be going. Welcome in. We're coming to you from the Grand Strand studios tonight, not too far up the road in Sardis. It is Chris Bergen. I have a question. And by the way, the plumber, Mr. Tomato Man, is Josh Cohen back at our
He
studios
looks
in Columbia.
less red today. He's tanned out a little bit.
Good. It takes a little time. Wait for the skin to start peeling. When I come back into the studios, I don't want to see a whole bunch of flaky skin on top of the board. Okay, so prepare for that. But Bergie, I have a question for you because you are a regular traveler from Sardis down to Conway and to the beach, back and forth through
Indeed.
Gallivant's Ferry up and down 76 to 501. And so not too many years ago, along that thoroughfare were posted signs saying future I-73 corridor. And so my question to you is, those signs are gone. Did you steal them?
I did not steal them. Governor McMaster may have taken them down. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I don't know whatever happened to the I-73 interchange that was supposed to come down through the beach. I thought it was going to be a great idea. Evidently, the road to nowhere. Maybe it's there with the Panthers training camp facility up near Rock Hill.
It
Maybe
was
all that's
supposed
in the
to
same place.
It was supposed to connect Detroit, right? You were supposed to be able to come down from Detroit all the way down to the beach via interstates. In fact, I can remember when all this was being done, part of the road was going to swing through the outskirts of Latta, home of champions, and I know people who sold their property and had to move their houses because of the planned construction was going to come right through their backyard. So, but yeah, literally, there's going to be an exit right there or something as well. They were planning, from what I understand. Obviously, none of that's happening, and the signs are gone. And I couldn't think of anybody else who travels, through Rains, through Gallivant's Ferry, through Ainer more than you do. And I figured maybe you took the signs.
I did not. I was
hoping
it would actually.
If you've got one, I'd like to have one.
I think they might actually be collector's items now. But, it's really fascinating. On a serious note, I am surprised we have not figured out a way to get another way off the beach, especially off the Grand Strand. You consider hurricane season and trying to get everybody off the beach through 501 traffic, it would be an absolute nightmare. And I'm really surprised for that reason and that reason alone that the 73 interstate did not actually come to fruition. It may still, but I'm not sure if you and I will be around. Josh may get to see it in his lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh can have it. I don't mind driving 76, and I don't go down 501 anymore. I take the back way around Ainer. Watch your speed. Cop was sitting on the side of the road today. Don't go over 25. You take that back cut on 319 over to 22 to 31. That's the magical tour for me when I come down here most of the time. If it's off season and it's at night or something, I might shoot straight through Conway. Otherwise, I avoid all that. Okay, I was just wondering what happened to the I-73 signs. So it's Friday night. Got a great show for you. Mike Morgan scheduled to be with us at 6:35, though I did see a picture of Mike in a pool today. So I'm not sure if he'll be with us or not. But he has told me he'll be with us tonight at 6:35. But when Mike Morgan's in the pool or in a lake in a bathing suit, I have my doubts. I do know we're going to hear from the Shants and the Tigers tonight, are we not?
That is correct. We will hear from, let's see, who do we have? We've got Jacob Morrison, Kevin Snall, and a little bit of sort of Blake Barthel and Caden Bodine mixed together because they were asked a really, really ridiculous question by one of the media members in Omaha, so I left that in because their answer is funny. And then we'll also hear from Jay Johnston, his thoughts on his relationship with Kevin Snall. They've evidently known each other for a long, long time, and then his thoughts about playing Coastal as well.
All right, very good. And so we'll have that. We'll have, of course, George Bryan tonight, Birdies, Bogies, Biceps. We talk a lot of golf with George and things related to the golf world with him. Jeff Owens on NASCAR as they go to Pocono this weekend after being – I'll be interested in getting his thoughts on what he thought of the race in New Mexico City. In Mexico City this past weekend. One thing that stood out to me, of course, the race was a snoozer because you had a guy run away with it, but the stadium that they had there, that stadium look where you had this big grandstand, this huge grandstand, and the cars looked like either drove between a split grandstand or underneath this huge grandstand. Did you watch any of it?
I did not. I've seen pictures of the facility. It looks like they tried to run the road course at a football stadium.
Yeah.
The way the stadium is set up.
Exactly. So looking forward to getting his thoughts on that. Of course, it's a big recruiting weekend for South Carolina. Landon Duckworth arrived in Columbia this morning after being out at the Elite 11. Saw some video from Jordan Kay of the State, who was out there. He published some video of Duckworth on the field watching a 7-on-7 competition at South Carolina with coaches. I imagine Shane Beamer was nearby, so they were out there. By the way, the 7-on-7 world, Bergie, I don't know if you've paid much attention to that, if you watch it very much. I know that's become a huge thing here in the summer, a big thing. It's really grown by leaps and bounds. What started off sort of as a way to keep football going in the offseason has taken on a life of its own. But, man, I was watching some video from one of the 7-on-7 events, and, I mean, the guys, the quarterbacks, of course, they have nothing to worry about. They've got nobody really rushing at them. They just stand back and throw the football. But the guys going downfield to catch the ball or those trying to defend, they are really putting themselves at risk for injury, if you ask me. They're wearing helmets and nothing else, and they're giving up their bodies. I mean, I saw one play on a throw to a kid, a receiver went up, fully extended, defender on top of them. They came crashing down, no pads, helmet came off of one of the kids, got up, they were fine. But I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a coach, do I want my boys out there doing that here just a couple of months away from the start of camp?
Well, and it was such a big thing at one point in time just on the high school circuit, Phil, because I can remember all these summertime opportunities that the high schools had to get together and try and keep their guys in shape during the offseason. But you're right, as more and more focus is being placed on off-season conditioning and everything the football players have to do, not to mention what basketball players have to do. And the baseball teams, I think, will actually start preseason workouts next week, somewhere along those. Matter of fact, LSU and Coastal may have to do some work as they're flying back home after the World Series, the way the schedules are. But yeah, you're right. I'm surprised with the proliferation of all these different 7-on-7 opportunities that we have. That fortunately, no one's gotten seriously hurt, because that's a knee injury or a shoulder injury waiting to happen.
Yeah, and I just don't know if it's worth it. I just don't know if it's worth it. I mean, you got guys who check out because they don't want to play in a bowl game, or they check out because they don't want to play in a high school all-star game, yet they're willing to do this. That doesn't make any sense to me. I know I get the competition and the idea of staying in shape, and you want to compete, and they're offering a trophy and all that kind of stuff, but really, what does it mean at the end of the day? It's a stupid summer 7-on-7. What if you break your arm or break your clavicle or, well, like you said, even worse, a knee or something? I find that to be very interesting, but it's a big thing, and there's like hundreds of teams that play in these events all across the state and all across the country. Okay, Plumber. How much do you expect to pay in tuition when you go to South Carolina this fall? How much are you expecting?
Too much. But I could expect to be helped by the South Carolina Education Lottery.
It's a great organization.
Yeah.
It's a great organization. But you better call them, because it's going to cost you an extra $300. Did you know this?
What's going to cost me an extra $300?
To go to South Carolina.
That's nothing compared to tuition.
Well, I know that. This is on top of your tuition.
What's it for?
Well, today your board of trustees, because you're a Gamecock, your board of trustees approved their budget and a new annual $300 athletics auxiliary fee designed to continue, as they put it, student access to athletics events, tickets, lottery, address increased event program operating costs, i.e. paying the players, and enhance the student experience across sporting venues. And I'll go back and I'll tell any athletic director, the only way to enhance the experience is to win. You can sell all the beer you want. You can have all the different colored lights you want. You can have the biggest video board in America. If you're not winning, the experience is not being enhanced. I can promise you that. So the money goes hand in hand with winning. So basically, South Carolina is falling in line with others. This fee will not be used for recently approved Williams-Brice Stadium renovations, a name, image, and likeness, or coaching contracts. But as I've explained, the $20.5 million is not name, image, and likeness. That is straight paying the players for their services. So let's separate the two concepts. From a USC release, other schools in the SEC, including Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, also have designated athletic student fees, and Clemson, they put this in their release, and Clemson also did the same thing, similar fee in 2024. Yes, Clemson people have been paying $300 an extra year ahead of South Carolina. So this is the world we live in now. I'm not blaming South Carolina here. I'm not saying they're at fault. They're falling in line with everybody else. And so this should work out according to some math done by Jordan Kay of the State, because he wrote a story on this. When you figure South Carolina has a student body population of over 30,000, it works out to 11.5, make it over 38,000 students. It works out to $11.5 million in new revenue. What do you think, Bergie?
Well, I think it was coming. I think it's a shame you're going to put this on the backs of the students who are already paying outrageous tuition fees, as Josh will be able to attest, to come and get an education. But, I mean, it was coming. If I'm a Gamecock fan, I'm upset. If I'm a Tigers student, I'm extremely upset because we've never had to do that before. When they instituted that $300 fee starting last year, it's the first time they had ever had an athletics fee. But here's what the schools have to do to try and keep up with the Joneses. I'm surprised, quite frankly, it's only $300. I'm surprised they didn't try to go to $500 or $1,000 and just stuff that inside your tuition. But yeah, it's the new era we're in, Phil, and I'm not shocked at all because we had to see this coming. Every school is going to try and find a way to get more and more revenue, and why not on the backs of your students, which I think is a shame to try and make it there. They should be part of the athletic department, not having to pay extra to be a part of the athletic department.
Well, South Carolina has had an $86 athletics fee per semester. Had that for a long, long time. And, that's allowed every student to attend a Gamecock sporting event. You have to enter a lottery for a chance to attend football games. So, again, this is the result of what the Supreme Court, what the courts have ruled, and all because they ruled in their thinking, in their opinion, that what the athletes were getting, which was a full ride, a full scholarship, covering all these expenses that now these extra expenses are going to be put on the back of students, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't proper compensation. Their thinking was, and the thinking of people who were in favor in this, is that the schools make so much money, the coaches make so much money, and it's all coming on the backs of these slaves known as athletes who aren't getting anything, which is a bold-faced lie because they got scholarships. And now go ask a student who's not on scholarship. Not everybody's as smart as the plumber, to get scholarship money. Some people have to actually, pay the whole freight. And now you're going to tack on another $300. And apparently, if I'm reading this right, there's no option here, right?
That's correct.
You have to pay the $300. Even if you're not going to –
yeah.
Maybe you don't care about athletes or athletics. Maybe you're there to get your education and become a doctor and take on additional fees for becoming a doctor and saving somebody's life. Maybe the life you save is going to be one of these athletes getting paid $3 million one day. Who knows how roads will cross. Boy, that just seems totally unfair, doesn't it?
It does.
To put it on the backs of these students who –
The boards of trustees of all these schools and the president should be ashamed of themselves. It's not the student's responsibility to pay your mistake for your athletes. You need to go out and find other ways to – you're already charging the students outrageous amounts of money to go to the university. And here's another thing they better start considering, Phil. Let's assume throughout Josh's career at USC, the football team goes 3-8, 4-7, 5-6, and then another 3-8 campaign.
Apparently,
how much longer is it going to be before students start saying, you know what, I don't want to go to that university regardless because I'm not paying, over $1,000 to go watch a really, really bad football team. I'm going to start enrolling at Alabama because they win. They've got the similar degree process that I want. I'm going to go there. I'm not going to pay these outrageous fees because I'm not getting value for my money.
Yeah, you made a good point. It's a real shame to spread this on the backs of the student body across the board because of the decisions that others made, wise or unwise, however you want to look at it, whatever side of the fence you happen to stand on. I happen to think it was unwise decisions. I happen to think that for a high school kid, 17, 18 years old, coming to college with the promise of a full scholarship ride as long as you stayed academically eligible to cover all your expenses was a perfectly fine exchange for everybody across the board, from the greatest quarterback to the slowest, dumbest, fattest offensive tackle who makes the roster. They all got the same thing. Now, there might have been some cheating under the table. That's fine. That went on. But everything else was even across the board. My scholarship was the same thing as your scholarship, and seemed like a good idea for me. And
I got a question about this. Since it's a mandatory student fee, are Lenora Sellers and Cade Klubnik paying this fee as well?
They can afford it.
I'm sure absolutely. But are the athletes being charged this as well as part of their scholarship or whatever else they're getting?
That's a very good question. I'm sure that their agents will negotiate that out of their contract. They have very fine agents and lawyers, and I understand why it was done. I don't like it. I didn't like it at Clemson. I think we talked about this last year when it came up at Clemson, and we probably said the same thing. And now here, same thing. Looking for additional revenue streams, and they're going to tax. This is a tax. That's what it is. It's a tax on being a student at all these schools. You're throwing another tax on them. But they'll be too drunk to know the difference when they go to the games.
Excuse me. Another thing about this, because you have to enter, at least at USC, you have to enter a lottery. All right, if I don't go to a game, if I can't get a ticket because I'm not qualified, I don't get the lottery number high enough, do I get a refund?
No. No, I think this is a mandatory, like it says, doesn't it say mandatory?
Yes, it does.
It's a mandatory payment, so you're stuck with it. Okay, we got more joyful things to talk about coming up here on the program after the break. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. If you want to comment on that, feel free to give us a call or shoot us a text, 803-900-4847. Mike Morgan is coming up. Recruiting is coming up. Jeff Owens, George Bryan, the Shants, the Tigers, all that coming up on this Friday. Back in a moment.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
G3 here with Tsunami Bar Sports, and it's time for a fall preview. That's right, 720 Chris Drive, 378 and I-26, Frontage Road, where you can now preview the best technology for golf known to man. It's the Tsunami Bar. Live Weight. It's the only technology out where you get your tempo and flow going before you play. Now, it also serves as a pattern support tool, 720 Chris Drive, Frontage Road, 378 and I-26. You also can visit the Garage Gym Pro Shop. Pick up your tools, take them home, and while you're here, tour the Scramble course, 6-hole pitch and putt right now.
All right, welcome back. Sports Talk Media Network. South Carolina also announced today in that same Board of Trustees meeting that they have extended their contract for the naming rights to the Colonial Life Arena to Colonial Life. So they will continue to have their name on the building at Colonial Life Arena. By the way, should mention here that part of the headline here, USC trustees approve 2026 budget, no tuition increase for South Carolina residents. That doesn't make any sense. There's no tuition increase. Okay, I get it. Tuition is one thing. A maximum $300 tax is another. So, Texas, technically, they're not raising tuition, but they are adding $300 to the cost. Does that make sense to you?
No, it does not. It's going direct. It comes from the same pie. I mean, you're writing one check to USC, so yeah. But that's funny. But you mentioned Colonial Life extending its partnership with Gamecock Athletics, especially on the basketball arena. How much longer do you think it will be before Memorial Stadium and Williams-Brice Stadium get naming rights added to them?
Boy, that's yeah. I wonder. I think if my memory's right, I think the contract or the agreement with the Williams family and the Brice family of Sumter is that name can't be touched. So, but there's ways to work around it, obviously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It can be called something business at Williams-Brice Stadium. And to answer your question, I don't think it'll be long. I mean, the field, you can call it like Kentucky does. What is Kentucky? Don't they call it Koger Field? Mm-hmm. At whatever. You can name the field. There's all kind of ways. And they'll, believe me, and I understand the stress that these programs are now under as a result of this. But, I mean, putting it on the backs of the students, I think is a little bit out of bounds for all these schools, not just South Carolina, Clemson, these other schools. I mean, they look at an extra $11 million. I get that, but you're already squeezing these families and these kids for everything they've got right now, and you're asking for more. Back in a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Summer is here. We'll have some increasing temperatures heading into next week. Tonight's low dips down to 74, while tomorrow and Sunday, highs of the mid-90s, a blend of sunshine and clouds, and a 20% chance we get an afternoon shower. Next week, very hot, highs around 100, the heat index approaching 110. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
What's better than getting the best Wagyu and Hereford beef anywhere in these parts and getting it delivered to your door? How about knowing you're still supporting local farmers in Saluda over at H&J Cattle, where tradition meets quality? Visit HandJCattle.com. Place your order for $50 or more, get free delivery in Richland or Lexington County. Plus, Point listeners get 10% off your order. Enter keyword The Point as one word for your discount. HandJCattle.com.
Authority. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A federal judge has granted a preliminary injunction blocking the Trump administration's efforts to keep Harvard University from hosting international students. The order from U.S. District Judge Allison Burroughs preserves the ability of Harvard to host foreign students while the case is decided. The Supreme Court has revived long-running lawsuits against Palestinian authorities from Americans killed or wounded in terrorism attacks in the Middle East. The justices Friday upheld a 2019 law enacted by Congress to allow the victims' lawsuits to go forward against the Palestine Liberation Organization and the Palestinian Authority. The attacks occurred in the early 2000s and in 2018. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 35 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
Are you looking for free checking and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to treat you like a human being. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
Step on the comfort and style with Floor Boys. Imagine plush carpets underfoot, sleek hardwood reflecting sunlight, or luxurious vinyl plank elevating your kitchen. Each step in our showroom unlocks new possibilities, blending your vision with our expertise. Our experienced team guides you from inspiration to flawless installation, making the process easy and enjoyable. Visit us on North Lake Drive or book a complimentary in-home estimate. Explore endless flooring options and fall in love with your space only at floorboys.com.
Experience South Carolina's printing powerhouse. Professional Printers is your trusted partner, bringing over 30 years of expertise in print and graphics. From digital printing to web and sheet-fed solutions, we handle it all with a team of over 100 dedicated professionals. Locally owned and operated, we have 2 locations in the Midlands and serve our customers with pride, ensuring top-notch service and quality in every project. We do it all, including storage and promotional products. Visit proprinters.com and elevate your printing experience with us.
She said, give me 6 packs of Brooks and Dunn. If you want country girl, you just found one. Let's slip away. Yeah, in his Chevrolet.
We are back on Sports Talk on this Friday night. Good to have you with us. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen. We're expecting Mike Morgan to be with us here momentarily. Couple of text messages into us. Our text message line is 803-900-4847. Listener writes in, this is from the 803. My son is in the Carolina band, and they get started back in early August and 95-plus degree days when they're outside all day. He has to pay this fee, too, and he doesn't go to any sporting events except for the football games where he marches. They really owe band members money for all the work they do for the football team. But, of course, that's not happening. USC also raised housing and meal plan prices. Ooh, I didn't know that. Didn't see that. Didn't read all the release that closely. So that's interesting. This is what I'm talking about. You got people who are having more put on their backs for the purpose of the athletes, who are now being viewed as entertainment. This is the other thing now with this changeover in college sports. No longer is it viewed as extracurricular, scholastic part of your college experience. You're now viewed purely as entertainment. You're an entertainer as a college athlete. This is sort of the spin that's being used to explain away why this is acceptable. Well, they're entertainers. So it's just like going to Broadway and paying $200 to go to a play. They're entertainers. So now you have to pay them to entertain us for 3 hours. But for you poor students at some of these schools, and I'm sure this is going to spread an additional tax on you to be entertained if you choose to be entertained.
But the difference, and then we'll get to Mike, but the difference in Hollywood, I don't have to send them a $300 check and then go pay $7 to watch the movie. I just have to pay the $7 to watch the movie. If I only had to buy a ticket to the football game or the men's basketball or the women's basketball, I'd be okay with that. It's the additional. It's almost like a permanent seat license.
Yeah,
I've got to buy that before I can buy the seat itself.
But the difference is
it's a double tax.
But I'd say the difference in that is you choose to go to that football game and pay that license for that right to buy the ticket. You're going as a regular student. Supposedly, you choose a college and you're going there to get an education. And going to a sporting event is supposedly an option that's part of the experience of being a student at that school. Now you're being asked to carry an additional burden to help finance the paying of these athletes. Mm-hmm. So look at it as you would. Let's ask Mike Morgan about it. As Mike Morgan joins us here on Sports Talk, Morgan on the Move, brought to you by Play It Again Sports in Harbison, where Chris Mosley, he runs the best sporting goods shop in the Palmetto State with all the things you'll want to buy, sell, or trade. Best selection, best prices, with a great, friendly staff. That's Play It Again Sports in Columbia.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. Incredible summer savings all summer long on the entire lineup of award-winning Chevys. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Mike Morgan joining us. Morgan on the Move. Hey, before we get down to the serious stuff, somehow I ran across a picture of you on Instagram, and you were in a lake somewhere. Was this today? Were you in a lake somewhere today or yesterday?
That would be yesterday. And technically, it's called a lake, but it's really part of the ocean.
Ah.
So it's the intercoastal. It's a cove, much like you would have on a Lake Murray or many other lakes, but it's saltwater. It's boats and fish and everything else on the intercoastal of the state of Florida.
So let's call it the Atlantic Ocean and not a lake.
Well, it's called Lake Boca, and you should know because much of your flock have ties to the great city of Boca Raton, Florida. And so I'm surprised you didn't even recognize that.
Hey, I noticed you were with somebody. I couldn't really tell if it was.
That'd be my wife. Thank you.
Okay, I couldn't tell. The picture wasn't real sharp. But anyway, what do you make of, we're talking about this. So South Carolina's Board of Trustees announced today they're going to tax their students $300 to help supply the money for paying the athletes. Clemson has done the same thing. Georgia's done the same thing. Others around the SEC. You have any thoughts on that?
I can see it from both sides. I caught some of your discussion, which I thought was very good. I like a healthy debate in both sides of it. And I know Chris speaks for not just students, but just fans overall that feel like they're getting squeezed out. And then I understand the big picture side, which is never has it cost more money to run an athletic department, at least if you want to be competitive and be an SEC or Power 4 type program, which is what you have in the state of South Carolina. And that money's got to come from somewhere. And, if you're Texas Tech, you make a phone call to the billionaire oil guy who runs the Matador Club, and you just say, keep writing checks, give the softball pitcher $1.3 million, give the basketball team $10 million, give the football team $25 million, and that's fine. But for the rest of the world, it's going to be, where do we find a nickel and a dime here and there to get to the point we need to get to? And I just think you're seeing more and more of this now. It's not just the South Carolina schools. It's you mentioned. I mean, Georgia has massive resources, but they're doing the same thing. I'm sure if I took a straw poll of the SEC programs, they're all doing something like this to generate more dollars. So this is the new normal, fair or unfair, whether you like it or not.
It is. It's unfortunate, and we're going to have to live with it. And $300 will be a baseline, I'm sure, over time, because 20.5 is just a starting point. Every year, that's going to increase, or schools will have the option to increase that number. So, their thinking is as their revenues grow from the TV contracts, then according to this settlement, that's going to have to grow as well. So, I imagine other taxes on students will increase too. Let's talk about CWS Final 2 Championship Series beginning tomorrow night. Coastal Carolina, LSU. I don't know that you can find a better matchup. I mean, you might say, well, give me another SEC team against LSU, and I say, the heck with that. Coastal's as good as anybody in the country, obviously. This is a great matchup of two powers. I mean, you got to call Coastal a power. 26 straight wins. What do you think?
I think, first off, every Sports Talk listener should pay $300 or no, $30. No, $3 to get Chris Bergen on a plane right now, and he can watch his Chanticleers in Omaha. $3. Everybody Venmo Chris Bergen $3, and let's make this happen. I'm here to help.
I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you.
Anytime.
Wait a minute. Mike Morgan works for ESPN. He is one of the highest paid sportscasters in America, if you don't mind me saying so.
Please,
so why doesn't Mike Morgan
true.
just over the air give us your American Express number? We promise to tear it up. Make sure you give us the four digit number on the front and the expiration date.
And the expiration date, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that off the air. How about that?
Okay. That's good.
Mike, I can tell you
I'll pass that along to Josh.
Mike, I can tell you a quick funny story about that. I got a call right before the show from a good buddy of mine and another friend of mine. They were in the car in Atlanta on their way to Omaha. They were going to drive through the night. They were supposed to get there, I think, about 8:30-ish tomorrow morning. And so I could have hopped in the car with them, I guess. That would have been a resort that I could have taken.
Oh, yeah, but that's a brutal drive. Man, I know people that have done it. Yeah.
You'd be in no shape to watch a game after you did that.
Yeah. Well, you've done that, haven't you, Corn?
I have done that. Quick funny story. After the Gamecocks, I was out there covering the Gamecocks. It was one of the years that they did not make it to the championship. So it must have been like in 01, 02, 2000, 2001, 2002. That run right there. Anyway, they lose. I do the show that night. It was a midweek loss. And one of the camera guys with Warren Pepper from down in Charleston had driven his van to Omaha, and he was driving back that night all the way through. And he said, anybody want to ride back to South Carolina? And I said, I will. And so got in the van, drove all night, shared the driving. The funny part is we got to Newberry, and the muffler fell off his van. We had been driving for like 18 hours, and the muffler fell off. He had to pull into Newberry, get the muffler, cut off his van, and we got back on the road, and I slept for 2 days after that. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. No, that's I have no desire to well, your old cohort, K-Mac, he drove to Houston for the Super Bowl with the year the Panthers made it.
Did he drive?
I think he and your other guy, RT, I think they
Rich
drove
Taylor?
together.
They drove?
Yeah. I'm almost positive.
No, you'd love this. The year the Citadel went, was that 90 or 91?
1990.
Yeah, Don Williams and Tom Price drove. in Don's Volvo station wagon, which was garnet colored, by the way, and either going or coming, they hit a fox on the interstate.
Nice.
Killed the fox, obviously. I don't think Don stopped to help it. And but I just remember I walked outside and saw his car, and the light was hanging off the edge of his car. I said, "What happened to your car?" He said, I hit a fox between St. Louis and Kansas City. Anyway, go ahead.
And how many TP stories were digested by Don during those 18 hours behind the wheel? That must have been something. The series itself, first off, there's going to be a ton of LSU fans. Coastal's got a great fan base, and I'm sure they'll represent Omaha well, but they're going to be outnumbered. LSU they own that event when it comes to, even when they're not there, their fans show up. So it's going to feel like a bit of a home field advantage. Look, I think Coastal's rotation, the reason why I thought they could advance this far, is it's as good as any in the field of 8, which is now the field of 2. And I like their closer as well. So if you've got 3 quality starters and you've got a closer and you've got an all-American catcher, they can beat anybody. And they have. And now the question is, can they beat LSU? And I would say they sure can. However, I would just say that LSU 1 through 9 probably has a better lineup, and they have a closer that can come in and throw 100, and they've got a pretty good Friday night, or in this case, Saturday night guy. I think it has a chance to be a really good series. I think it's certainly winnable for Coastal, but anytime you've got to play LSU in Omaha, it's really hard to go against LSU. That's why they're the Vegas favorite.
Yeah, you're right. Do you see anything? I don't know how much you've studied these two teams, but you mentioned the pitching. I think you probably give Coastal the edge at catcher. They have the best catcher in the country. I look around the lineup. I mean, there's certain areas there where you have to give Coastal the edge, wouldn't you say, catcher being one of them?
Catcher and 1 through 3 rotation, right? And look, I think if Coastal's going to win this, I think it's going to be a 3-game series. So that rotation depth could be the difference. Yeah, that to me, that's if I'm looking for if we did the old Jimmy the Greek board with, you put a check mark behind each category that particular team has an advantage in. The 3 checks that Coastal has, All-American catcher, check. Rotation depth, check. I don't know if I'm going to give their closer is really good. How he stacks up against LSU's, I don't know. Maybe that's a wash. But the intangibles, ordinarily, I'd say go to Coastal. I mean, they got the longest winning streak in the country. They're on fire. They have forgotten how to lose. But the flip side of that is LSU in Omaha is just really, really tough to beat. So can they take the first punch from LSU? Because I'm thinking about this, guys. Of the 25 in a row that Coastal has rattled off here, how many times have they trailed late in games? I mean, I'm saying that halfway rhetorically, but maybe you guys can think of it. Like, how many times have they really had to rally in like the 9th inning, even the 8th inning to win a game? They've done a pretty good job of holding their teams down early, taking a lead, and then kind of choking that team's offense the rest of the way to hold on to win.
Mm-hmm.
So if they fall down 4-1 at the end of 4 innings in game 1, how do they take that punch, and how do they come back?
Sure.
Really great question, Mike. Mike Morgan with us here tonight on Sports Talk. Mike, one of the tent poles in their program is scoring first, and they preach that time and time again. And you're right; they've done a tremendous job of that throughout this winning streak. And by the way, announced today, Cameron Flukie will pitch tomorrow night for Coastal against Kate Anderson. So it looks like Anthony Ianson will go for LSU in Game 2 against Jacob Morrison. So those two pitching matchups, both games should be outstanding. I wanted to ask you, a guy who used to be here and has now moved on to LSU, and what is going on with Michael Braswell? Thought he was a terrific player at South Carolina, was disappointed from our perspective here in the state. We didn't get to watch him play anymore. Had a pretty good year with the Tigers last year, but Mike, he has fallen off a cliff. And if I'm not mistaken, has not had a base hit, only one base hit, I should say, since the South Carolina series. The times you've watched him play, what is going on with him? A kid that I thought was going to be a can't-miss pro prospect.
Yeah, that's the sound of Gamecock fans saying the grass is not always greener, right? Listening to the show right now. I don't know. I don't have a great answer to that question other than I will say this. The pressure of playing at LSU can get to you. The expectation level there, it's the closest thing to like playing for the Yankees where they booed Aaron Judge the other night. Just more ignorance on the fan of Corn's fan base over there. You boo Aaron Judge. Yeah. Well, it's just sad. Yeah. But it does. It can chew you up psychologically, and it has done that. They've had some very talented players that have either transferred in or have been recruited there, and they felt the weight of the world on their shoulders, and they were not the same. So I don't know if that's specifically the case. I haven't followed him a whole lot, but you're right. I certainly have noticed in the LSU games that I've seen, he's just not been a factor anymore.
Mike, we'll let you get back to the ocean as it rolls into Boca. Have a gefilte fish. You might find a gefilte fish floating there in that ocean. So put a little horseradish on it. Make for a great meal tonight. You and the wife and gefilte fish.
We will be having Italian food, and we will enjoy every minute of it tonight. A lot of great Italian food down here.
I'm sure you will. Thank you.
Enjoy.
We'll talk
Thanks,
to
Mike.
you next week, my man.
All right, guys. Be well.
See you later. Mike Morgan on the move here on Sports Talk. Great stuff from him. I'm still rolling with Coastal. Call me a homer. Call me, rooting for the home team. Mm-hmm. With Coastal, I think
I'm telling you,
their pitching's going to snuff out LSU's offense. I'm even predicting a shutout. What do you think? Ooh. One shutout.
Now, that would be impressive. I'm not quite ready to go that far. I think LSU will find a way to score, but I don't think they'll score enough.
We'll be back.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse.
I want to be an engineer.
I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
Are you in the market for an auto loan? Move now. Get an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union now through October 31st, and you'll be entered to win up to $25,000 toward your qualifying auto loan and a $5,000 deposit into your Loyalty Select account. Loyalty Select is our highest yield savings account. Leave it there to grow or transfer it out to spend. And the best part? We'll be choosing monthly winners. So the earlier you get your auto loan, the more chances you have to win. So don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/auto to learn more or begin your auto loan application today. Not a Founders member yet? Visit us online or stop by an office to learn more about Founders and see if you qualify for membership. We have the financial tools you'll need and the personalized service you deserve. Relax, you're with Founders. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
All right, today in Omaha, no baseball, but press conferences. Here is LSU coach Jay Johnson as he talks about facing Coastal Carolina again. Remember, he was the coach at Arizona when Coastal beat Arizona in 2016 for the national championship. And also, of course, he knows Kevin Schnall very well. Here's Jay Johnson.
I met Kevin a long time ago. Something that I learned early on was study the people that are the best at what they do. Skip Burtman, Augie Garrido, and then Gary Gilmore. You know, I was very impressed with their program. I was at a mid-major at University of San Diego as the associate head coach for 8 years, and they were kind of one that we were kind of modeling and emulating on the West Coast. And so paying attention to what they were doing, and then, you know, going out recruiting and trying to make us a national program and going after the best players. You know, I ran into Kevin on the recruiting front, and then just having good baseball conversations. And then, you know, what I've always admired about him is the pride that he's taken in his job as the recruiting coordinator and now as the head coach. So ton of respect there. As far as 2016, you know, unique situation for us. You know, I went to Arizona and I didn't have one player that had ever played in the NCAA tournament before, and we were picked 10th out of 11 in the Pac-12. And, you know, the fall we were really grinding to kind of see what we were going to be, and, you know, it wasn't like a smooth deal. And then we came back in January, and there was about 5 pitchers that you started to look at and go, we're pretty good. And then a position player group that, you know, part of the reason I accepted that job because I thought there was players that could play better than they had to that point in their career. And we got the ball rolling a little bit. I think we opened at Rice, and they were ranked in the top 10, and we won 2 out of 3 and got some good wins on the board, built some confidence. And then in the postseason, you know, played really well, won regional at Louisiana Lafayette, super regional at Mississippi State, got here, and if I remember correctly, we both lost the second game and then had to both fight our way back to the losers bracket, and then won a 3-0 game and lost 2 one-run games. And, you know, this is my spot in the world is Omaha. Like, this is what I dream about. And the first time being here, I just remember being very thankful to play 8 games. And in the moment was really tough. And it's no different than how I feel about this team or the 23 team or when we came here in 21 at Arizona, as they deserve to be here. And you want them to experience the
LSU coach Jay Johnson back in a moment.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Iran has targeted an Israeli premier research institute known for its work in life sciences and physics, among other fields. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the fact that Iran would target such a structure speaks volumes about Iranian leaders.
The world-renowned Weizmann Institute, where the most advanced cutting-edge research is done for human biology, medical research, genetic research, smashed by this rocket from this evil regime.
While no one was killed in the strike on the Weizmann Institute of Science, it caused heavy damage to multiple labs on campus. Detained student Mahmoud Khalil has been ordered released. Correspondent Jennifer King has more.
The Columbia University graduate student has been held since March. He was the first arrested under President Trump's crackdown on students who joined campus protests against Israel's war in Gaza. Khalil's lawyers had asked that he be freed on bail or moved to New Jersey so he can be closer to his wife and newborn son, both U.S. citizens. The government argued that Khalil lied on his green card application, something he disputes. During the hearing, the judge says it's highly unusual to be seeking detention of a petitioner given the factual record. He concluded Khalil was not likely a flight risk or a danger to the community. I'm Jennifer King.
The Trump administration says Khalil must be expelled from the company because his continued presence could harm American foreign policy. A federal judge has granted a preliminary injunction blocking the Trump administration's efforts to keep Harvard University from hosting international students. The order from U.S. District Judge Allison Burroughs preserves the ability of Harvard to host foreign students while the case is decided. On Wall Street, the Dow by 35 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Third day. The original members reunited for the 30th anniversary tour, playing all the hits. With special guest Zach Williams. Tickets available Friday, June 27th at awakeningfoundation.com. Third day, the 30th anniversary tour.
You just call my name.
An Awakening Foundation event.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
A cyber attack strikes a major health insurance company. Correspondent Donna Warder reports.
Aflac says it's identified suspicious activity on its network in the U.S., which may impact personal information, including Social Security numbers. The insurance company says the incident is part of a cybercrime campaign against the industry and that the intrusion was stopped within hours. Aflac says so far it's unable to determine the number of affected customers. It says it will offer free credit monitoring, identity theft protection, and medical shield for 24 months to anyone that calls its call center. I'm Donna Warder.
A group of Democratic Texas lawmakers is asking Elon Musk to delay his rollout of driverless robo-taxis in the state this weekend to assure that the vehicles are safe enough. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On-Point weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Summer is here. We'll have some increasing temperatures heading into next week. Tonight, low dips down to 74, while tomorrow and Sunday, highs of the mid-90s, a blend of sunshine and clouds, and a 20% chance we get an afternoon shower. Next week, very hot, highs around 100, the heat index approaching 110. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On-Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make the point.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
We're back. Sports Talk Media Network. I don't know if we mentioned this in the first hour when talking about the $300 tax that the South Carolina Board of Trustees is adding to the backs of their regular students. And I'm assuming the athletes as well, they're students. Again, unless their agents negotiate that out of their contracts. This is on top. Jordan Kay went back and updated his story. In the state, this $300 is on top, in addition to the $172 annually that is the athletics fee. So, Plumber, you'll be paying $472 annually in mandatory athletics fees, and this is going to amount to about $18 million a year.
Anybody that has a full ride will probably get it covered, though. I mean, it's a school expense. You're paying one check to the school, so if you have a scholarship of some kind, and then it will be covered. I don't see why it wouldn't. I would assume it's just being added into the tuition or added onto your bill.
I'm not worried about the scholarship athletes, and
No,
I'm talking
this
about
is not going to affect them one bit.
I'm talking about the history major who got in with a C+ average and is he or she's having to pay their own way through school, and now they've got this thrown on top of it. Again, understand the situation that the schools are in. It's sad that they're in this position to have to add this on to what the students are already paying. Okay, Bergie, we just heard from Jay Johnson of LSU. Let's go to the Coastal Carolina side.
And if you'd like to hear more of LSU and also from Coastal, we've got the story up on our website at SportsTalkSC.com. But in addition to Jay Johnson, Jake Brown, and also Anthony Ianson for LSU, the Chanticleers got a chance to meet with the media as well. Head coach Kevin Snow, along with infielder Blake Barthel, catcher Caden Bodine, and Game 2 starting pitcher Jacob Morrison met with the media, and Morrison actually started off the conversation. He was asked, all right, how do you compare things? How difficult is it with the 2016 season sort of looming over you with the national championship? Here's what he had to say in response to that.
I wouldn't say it's looming at all. I would say it's more inviting than anything. The 2016 team, there's a good amount of them that came back, and the amount of support and the amount of times that they've reached out to us has been unbelievable. Like Anthony Marks, I know he was a big part of that program. He has been by our side, and he texts a lot of us before every game. But then you go even further, you have Connor Owings on our staff. I mean, he was on that team, and he was one of the best players, and it's just really inviting to have that type of culture around, such a great winning culture.
Howard Borden, KOBM Omaha. Coach, players, congratulations for an outstanding job all season getting ready for the championship. So for Blake and Caden and Jacob, always asked us every year, your thoughts on LSU. What do you admire just as student athletes and fans of baseball? What do you like about the Tigers?
Not a whole lot.
We're not really worried about the Tigers. We're more of just a self-oriented team. Like, we're just focused on our team and our team only.
I'm so glad I get to follow up that question and those answers. Corey Diaz with the USA Today Network. For any and all of you guys, it seems like the proverbial talk around the National Water Cooler is that they want you guys to win over LSU. It seems like you've kind of got the backing of everyone outside of Louisiana. So just talk about just having that support maybe from people that don't necessarily watch the Chanticleers, all year long, but they still want you guys to win this weekend.
I think it's awesome, to have others to follow our program, but I think we got to give a lot of credit to, Teal Nation. They travel extremely well, and they really take pride in rooting for us, and we need that energy out there, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, if people see the matchup on paper, LSU against Coastal Carolina, people would probably assume LSU is the favorite. They are the betting favorite. Do you guys consider yourselves underdog in the series?
We just like to play Coastal baseball. We have extreme confidence in everything that we do on both sides of the ball, and we're looking forward to competing against them. But I think at the end of the day, we take care of business on our side and just really respect the opponent. But honestly, playing Coastal baseball is the way to win.
Coach, as a member of that 2016 staff, what do you remember about that series against Jay Johnson in Arizona, and how does that experience sort of against him help you this week?
Well, the biggest difference between this year and 16 was all the shampoo and body spray that we got every time we showed up to the ballpark. We don't get it this year for some reason. We would like it because we've talked a lot about it. I actually still have some of the body spray from 16. There's not an expiration date, so I'm still using some. That's the biggest difference, and the fact that we didn't lose. But there's no experience we're taking from 16. None of these players were on 16. This team is different than 2016. Our goal every day is just to really keep a microscopic focus and dominate our one-day plan. This team has done that at an extreme high level, and that's why we're one of two teams in the entire country still playing.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge. The guys used the phrase coastal baseball a couple of times. What does that mean to you, whether that be attitude or approach? And then anything that you've identified that LSU does particularly well?
Well, coastal baseball, you have to have a certain type of energy level to play at Coastal Carolina. If you like baseball, Coastal's not the program for you. Two pillars of Coastal Carolina are the words relentless and selfless. And relentless is basically doing everything to your best of your ability every single day. And selfless is having an others-centered mindset versus a self-centered mindset. And that is non-negotiable in our program. Regarding LSU, it's pretty simple. They've got power on both sides of the ball. They have over 100 home runs. They've got over 700 strikeouts. That combination is very dangerous.
Matt Satilli, KETV Omaha. Coach, you've talked about, in the back, you've talked throughout the week how this hasn't been a Cinderella story. What would a second national title this weekend mean to this program?
That'd be 2 national championships in 9 years. That would put Coastal Carolina baseball on a different planet. That'd put Coastal Carolina University in a really good position. And again, that's really special. But it's not about winning a national championship at this point. It's about winning today's practice. And that's what's really important. At 12 o'clock, we have to win the next hour and a half. We've got to have a great session today. And then we've got to win tomorrow's BP. And then it's about just winning pitches, not worrying about outs, winning pitches. And if you win pitches, you'll start getting outs. And before you know it, you hold that up.
Okay, there you go. The folks from Coastal Carolina at the press conference today in Omaha. Things will get started in the championship series tomorrow night. The best 2 out of 3. We'll see if we're talking about a Coastal National Championship on Monday night, or maybe they're playing in a decisive third game at that time. Okay, let's get to the recruiting report here on Sports Talk. Our recruiting report is brought to you by Seawells. Make sure you get out to Seawells next week for their delicious daily luncheon buffet from 11 till 2. When you have that special event that requires the most professional, the very best in the catering business, Seawells, they are the people to think about. SeawellsCateringSC.com for the menu options. Give them a call at 803-771-7385 for more information. Let Seawells help make your event a memorable experience. Recruiting-wise tonight, Landon Duckworth of Jackson, Alabama, arrived at South Carolina this morning for his unofficial visit. Jordan Kay of the State had video of Duckworth watching the 7-on-7 competition with some of the coaches. He just completed competing in the Elite 11 finals in California. Of course, he's down to USC and Auburn. Clemson target safety Joey O'Brien of Glenside, PA, will make his commitment announcement tonight at 7:15 via his Instagram at his school, with Clemson, Notre Dame, Penn State, and Oregon his Final Four. Wide receiver Sequel Patterson of Indian Land is taking an official visit to South Carolina this weekend. He, of course, is the young man who reclassified from 27 to 26. He's got numerous major offers. South Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia appear to be his top 3. Clinton offensive guard Trey Aiken is no longer down for an official visit to USC this weekend. His coach confirmed this afternoon. He has taken official visits to Georgia Tech and NC State. Otherwise, cornerback Samari Matthews, tight end Tilden Riley, wide receiver Samorian Wingo, offensive tackle Darius Gray, safety Tamorian Watkins, offensive tackle Desmond Green, all uncommitted, are coming to South Carolina this weekend, as well as commitments safety Jazavian Currents and tight end Jamel House. USC target wide receiver Travis Johnson changed his plans for this weekend from Virginia Tech to North Carolina. He's also been to South Carolina, Indiana, Penn State, and Michigan. Scheduled official visits for other USC targets this weekend: safety Joel Combe to Tennessee, offensive tackle Kamari Blair, Tennessee, cornerback Kerry Adams to Oregon, offensive tackle Jabian Shabazz to Ohio State, defensive tackle Noah Clark to NC State, defensive end Carter Meadows to Michigan, defensive end Julian Walker to Michigan, cornerback Kosi Barnes to Kentucky, and running back Amari Thomas to Florida State. By the way, Clark was in Columbia yesterday at one of the camps, so another visit for him to South Carolina. Clemson targets this weekend headed where? Safety Zeke Marshall, Virginia Tech. And I mentioned Darius Gray to USC, defensive tackle, defensive end Bryce Perry Wright to Texas A&M, linebacker Tyler Atkinson to Texas, receiver Devin Fitzgerald, North Carolina, cornerback Danny Odom, Nebraska, defensive tackle Keyshawn Stanchel, NC State, safety Tylen Wilson, Mississippi State, safety Blake Stewart, Michigan, and running back Jay Lamar to Georgia. North Augusta offensive tackle Malcolm Gaston scheduled for an official at Georgia this weekend. Dorman defensive tackle Christian Waring scheduled for an official to Boston College this weekend. Today, South Carolina offered defensive end Marvin Guestop, 6'7", 265 of Germany. And he's a 27 kid, another 27 kid, defensive tackle Carlos May, 6'4", 305 of Birmingham, offered as well. They were both in camp with the Gamecocks. South Carolina offered 2028 defensive tackle Major Green, 6'5", 325 of IMG Academy. After he was in a camp on Thursday, they also offered 28 defensive end Kyle Pope of Cartersville, Georgia, and 27 defensive end Success Wabudi, 6'7", 245 out of Athens. Christchurch receiver Jude Hall going to Memphis this weekend. 27 corner Josh Dobson, Catawba Ridge, offered by SMU and by Memphis. Former Clemson freshman receiver Marquise Henderson is officially in the transfer portal, John. He was dismissed from the team yesterday. And former Upstate outfielder Scott Campbell signed with Kentucky. According to On3, this season he hit .388 with 11 home runs. There you do it. That's recruiting here on Sports Talk. Follow along on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. SportsTalkSC.com. In fact, you can go to SportsTalkSC.com and see our stories. And there's also a link that you just click on that takes you right to the X feed of our recruiting notes and stories as well. Or you can just go to our X and look at it there, which is, of course, is SC Sports Now, SC Sports Now. And we'll be back with Jeff Owens after the break.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry, we've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I'm not a case manager. I'm a lawyer for over 35 years. I don't charge 40% for your injury in your wreck case or any on-the-job injury. Call 803-765-2968 and ask for Jim Corbett, or email me, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, for the experience of a lawyer handling your injury case. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968. jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Put 35 years of experience to work on your injury case.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Love it when it's forward, love it when it's fast, love it when the leader's talking, pack is moving past, love it when they make you lots and lots of noise, can't wait to hear these W's say.
Boogity, 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 boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's go racing, boys. Pocono. Very funny-looking racetrack.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said Pocono.
Are you suggesting a snooze fest is ahead of us at Pocono? Can't be any worse
judging by
than
the last, I don't know, 40 years they've raced there. Yeah, I'd say so.
Mexico City turned into a snooze fest, Jeff Owens. What'd you think of Mexico City? And I mean, a 16. It happens, I guess, in road courses, a 16-second win. You're going to have blowouts in every sport. It happens.
Yeah, sorry, Phil. I was napping there. I, still asleep from that race last week. I mean, geez.
Bad, huh?
I feel like I've been asleep all week. Yeah, it was, yeah, that happens. And I think this is what a lot of teams feared was going to happen because he was the one guy who could stink up that show. And, boy, he did it. I mean, that was a tremendous performance from him. Not a great race, but a good event. You know, I think it all went well for NASCAR in Mexico City. But, boy, Van Ginsberg just proved that he is far and away the best driver in the sport right now on road courses. And he did that at Chicago, the first time he ever stepped in a stock car. And he's been competitive on all the road course races since then. And then he just dominated that one. And I got a feeling that's not the last time we're going to see that performance this year.
Well, you got more road courses coming up. So I know that's his background, but beyond that, why is he so good at it?
Boy, that's a good question, Phil. I mean, I just think that he has perfected it. He has been racing it for years and years and years in the Supercars series in Australia and New Zealand, and has just become exceptional at it. And he did that full time for many, many years, kind of like Marcus Ambrose did. And you remember Marcus Ambrose came over here, and he won some road course races, and he was competitive on the ovals as well. I think he's just one of those guys, and he's a superstar over there. I mean, he's kind of like the Dale Earnhardt of that kind of racing over there. And he's been able to come in here and pick up stock cars really fast. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people really haven't noticed this, but he's been pretty competitive on the ovals too. He's getting better and better and better. He's not up there racing for the lead and winning races, but if you look at his stats, he's getting better every week. He's creeping into the top 15, the top 10. This guy's a great road course, a great race car driver, and then he has all that experience on the road courses. He's just got more experience than these other guys, and in a year or so, he's picked it up in these cars. And he's backed by a really good team. You know, Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain have both won road course races for trackside racing. So, you know, that helps, you know, and you plug him in, they get better, they help him. They just got a great combination right now. And I think they're the team to beat going forward on the road courses after what we saw down there. I'd say all the other Cup teams got some work to do to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, despite the way the race itself came together, can NASCAR continue to go to Mexico City, judging by the reaction of some of the drivers? I mean, they had some very unflattering things to say about the city and obviously the country. I mean, can NASCAR continue to be able to put on a race down there?
Yeah, I don't know, Chris. I mean, that's a great question. They will, you know, if they want to do it and Mexico City pays them enough money, they will. They shouldn't have done it this time, I don't think. I think there was enough cause not to do it with what's going on in the world. I think a lot of crew guys were not happy at going down there. Some of them had bad experiences in the city. You knew that was going to happen. That happened when the Xfinity Series goes there. It's just a dangerous place to go. And when NASCAR does that, they put their teams and their drivers in danger, and this is going to happen. And I didn't hear a single thing that came out of anybody's mouth that was inappropriate. I mean, that's what you're going to get when you take your sport to a country like that. And NASCAR should have known that was going to happen. They probably did. I don't think they care. I think the bigger picture is, you know, marketing the sport internationally, putting on a great race, and getting those fans. And that's okay. You know, that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. but you can't expect it to go well, and you can't expect it not to have problems, and it's always going to be controversial. So it depends on how much of that they want to swallow.
In the Fast Lane tonight here with Jeff Owens on Sports Talk. Looking forward to Pocono this weekend, and I guess this is the last thing on Dale Jr.'s bucket list that he hasn't done in the sport. He's going to be a crew chief this weekend for his Xfinity Series car. I mean, how good a job. I realize he's got to fill in because they've got a suspension with their own guy, but, I mean, how good a job can he do as a crew chief?
You know what? I think he'll do a great job. Now, is he going to have somebody else in his ear telling him what to do? Of course. He ain't going to be the crew chief. He's probably going to be the crew chief ceremonially. And you know what? This will be great. It'll be great for the sport. They'll probably show more of Dale Jr. on top of the box than they will the race cars. And you'll get all his audio. It'll be great. Is it a kind of a gimmick? Yeah, but it's Dale Jr. Why not? This is like miking up Tom Brady on the field or something like that. You're taking the biggest star still in the sport. If you can argue that Dale Jr. is still a bigger star than anybody that drives those race cars, I think that's an absolute fact. Yeah. So anything they can do to get him out there, he does a great job on TV. I really do. I really think he does. I think his passion and enthusiasm really comes across. And I think he works really hard at it. And I don't think anything comes out of his mouth that he doesn't know what he's talking about. So I think he'll do a great job. And I think it'll be very entertaining for the fans.
Okay. Toughest assignment you've ever had in your life. In 45 seconds, explain the NASCAR in-season challenge.
Got no idea what it is. I don't know. They stole it from the NBA, so there you go. That's all I know.
That's all you need to know. Finisher advances. Seeding is based on best results at Michigan, Mexico City, and Pocono. I thought they've already started. I guess Michigan was the first one, huh? Am I right?
Yeah. They've done a pretty poor job of marketing this. Yeah, pretty poor job of marketing it because I haven't heard much about it at all. They did something like this in the Xfinity Series for a few years there where you accumulate special points or more. You can win more money if you perform well in these certain races. And this is what a lot of sports are doing it now. We've seen the NBA doing it.
Let me seeding races, Michigan, Mexico, and Pocono, those are seeding races. And then the challenge races begin on June 28th, next week. Okay, these are just seeding races.
Yeah. Doing something to try to spice it up and give you something else to follow,
They're making it exceedingly hard to understand the sport. Thank you, Jeff. Great as always. We'll be right back.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Summer is here. We'll have some increasing temperatures heading into next week. Tonight, low dips down to 74, while tomorrow and Sunday, highs in the mid-90s, a blend of sunshine and clouds, and a 20% chance we get an afternoon shower. Next week, very hot, highs around 100, the heat index approaching 110. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
Victory. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Israel and Iran have struck at one another again a week into their war as President Trump weighs U.S. involvement. Key European ministers met with Iran's top diplomat in Geneva Wednesday in a scramble to de-escalate the conflict, but the meeting concluded after 4 hours with no sign of an immediate breakthrough. A federal judge held a brief hearing over whether the Trump administration should continue its deployment of troops to Los Angeles. U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer on Friday put off issuing any additional rulings after an appellate court on Thursday gave President Trump a key procedural victory, saying he can keep control of the National Guard during California's legal challenge. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 35 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, this is Kev with my good friend Ken from over at Broker Solar, and he really is a good friend. I've known Ken's family for more than 20 years. All right, so how many people lost power for an extended time back when we had that hurricane come through here, right? You got the solution, though, Ken, the solar-powered batteries.
The battery with solar system is essential. Not only can you back up your loads in an emergency event like a power outage, but you can also control the peak times that you use power, and the batteries can kick in to supplement your power usage. With our solar batteries, you can back up the home just like a generator would, but run it off the clean energy from the sun, which we get every single day. So no need to refill the gas, propane tanks, all powered by the sun.
Remember, Broker Solar is local. You make the call, the investment is worth it. How do the Point listeners find you over at Broker Solar, Ken?
The best way is going to be through brokersolar.com. Plenty of contact us buttons, but the phone number to reach us at would be 803-807-7417.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman-Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Looking to upgrade your home with beautiful, long-lasting floors? At Carpet One Columbia, we make it easy. From luxury vinyl and hardwood to plush carpet and custom rugs, we have hand-selected options to fit your lifestyle and your budget. We're locally owned and operated with 2 convenient showrooms next to Riverbank Zoo and in West Columbia. Come walk our floors before you choose yours. Carpet One, trusted flooring done right.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing our new healthy gluten-free menu. For your choices, we offer charbroiled certified Angus ribeye steak, juicy marinated grilled chicken dinner, fresh grilled salmon, authentic Greek salad, hamburger steak with grilled onions and melted cheese, shish kebab with grilled chicken, veggie blue plate with a choice of 4 vegetable selections, spring chicken salad, and of course, our famous slow-roasted pot roast. Come and enjoy a healthy gluten-free menu at Flight Deck Restaurant. We at Flight Deck Restaurant, thank you, and God bless.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
4! Straight down the middle. It went straight down the middle. Then it started to hook just a wee, wee bit. And that's when my caddy lost sight of it. That little white pellet has never been found to this day. But it went straight down the middle.
How glad are the professional golfers to be out of Western PA and up in Connecticut, not just for the weather, but to get away from Oakmont. As great as it is, and what a historic course and everything about it, it beat the tar out of everybody in that field. I mean, you know, one survived under par. Otherwise, everybody else got hammered. So now they're off to the Travelers Championship in Connecticut, and everybody's happy again, George Bryan, because they're scoring a bunch of birdies. We're seeing 64s, and we're seeing 62s and some 66s and all that. Didn't see any of that hardly last week, did we?
No, and, you know, it's just one of the things that golf offers, and we've talked about it. It'll keep on going. It's just great conversation. No two courses are alike, and the U.S. Open, well, it's not Hartford, and you see a lot more smiling. You see it's definitely a different culture, a climate, and I enjoy them both. But I can tell you, if it was every week as it was last week, the game would be small, very small.
No question about it.
Great finish. Absolutely a beautiful finish. And you know what? You got the great comeback. Shoots 40 on the front nine, goes out in 40, and wins the U.S. Open. That's just special.
That really was the way he held it together. What do you know about JJ? Have you, with your interactions with folks on the PGA Tour in recent years, have you interacted with him? Have your boys interacted? What do you know about him?
They have, and I just don't know him. I don't know him very well, and he is not like real loud and overly social. Some folks are, and maybe. I can't wait to find out more. I got a feeling the whole world's going to find out a lot more about J.J. Spaun, and I've watched him and admired him for a long time. He's the ultimate grinder, never gives up, plays hard, and I guess we learned an awful lot just in how he handled that final round. Went awful, even at the delay. There was a rain delay. It's hard to get off to a more frustrating start if you're playing the kind of game he was leading into that final round. That rain delay, he was the biggest beneficiary. And the coaches at a time, they called timeout. There was a pep talk, and man, did he turn it on coming home. Goodness gracious. That was something special to watch, that eagle
Absolutely.
on 17.
Yeah, those last two putts, 17, 18, nerve-wracking, to say the least. What did you think about 18 and how he knocked that thing in to make sure that he didn't have to go to a playoff?
It was one of those things that when you're holding on to it the way he was, well, he didn't have to make it, but I just couldn't see any way that he would even – come close to three-putting. And it was a hard putt. It was extraordinarily hard. He made it, but at that point, the players at that level, the way he was rolling, I had no vision of him losing the Open at that point. When he did what he did on 17, it was over. It was over.
Yeah.
So,
what did you make of Oakmont? What did you make of how the USGA had the course set up per usual when they're there for the Open at Oakmont? Anything more penal this year to previous years? About the same? What did you think?
Overall, I would say the USGA has softened the edge a little bit and allowed – they could have had it harder than they did. And it did rain to soften it up. We talked about it last Friday night, and I thought they set it up about as easy as the USGA could set it up. And, that kind of golf, it just doesn't draw out a lot of fun out of the players. But I thoroughly enjoyed the event. And like I said, I like the variety that golf offers and the different formats. I had the privilege of watching a different format the day out at Salina, the 4-player captain's choice. I like different golf courses. I like to see the formats. We talked about the Zurich this past year. I know it's now we have a President's Cup, a Riders' Cup. Anything for variety, I'm all for it. And the more fun, the merrier, the more it's going to popularize golf. Hey, I also enjoyed. I got to tell you, I enjoyed hearing Mike Morgan, and you all mix it up about World Series, and it's cool to see. Really cool to see another state team with a chance. The College Series, not World Series.
Yeah.
The College World Series, and shoot, that was fun. That was fun for me to listen to, Phil.
Well, glad you enjoyed. Mike brings a level of intelligence that's not often found on this program.
Hey, when you talk,
boy, that's for sure.
The college game. the college game is it's emotional, and y'all were talking about how the players are going to handle it if Coastal gets down. Well, I'll tell you right now, those nerves will be on the edge. And I heard what you were saying about LSU and how many fans it brings. Well, one of the things I watched today in this, it was a captain's choice. You have 4 players playing together. There, every now and then it comes down to that 4th player. And I sat on one hole for the most part, just watching. And, every now and then it came down to the last player having to hit that shot. And it'll be fun to see how the game turns out, because definitely they'll be on edge. I remember the Gamecocks winning a couple of back-to-back and watching how loose they were in the first one they won. In the pregame, they had a rain delay. I was watching how loose and how much fun they were having before the game started. And at that point, it triggered a little, wow, that's pretty, something good, something's a little different here. And sure enough, you play loose, you play great. This week they're playing loose and great at Hartford. I like the top of that leaderboard.
We're going to hit that in a second, but I was hoping we could get Frankie on with us. Frankie Harris, the South Carolina golfer, who played in the Open. Two rounds. Wasn't able to connect with him tonight. What do you say, though, about his performance? If I remember correctly, I think he shot 79 round one, but 71 in round two. Still didn't make the cut. But what do you think about how he fought back in round two, could have succumbed to everything, and didn't have a disaster?
Oh, I love it. And he'll be better prepared next time. Very typical. When it's hard to imagine what it's like on the first hole when heart racing, the nerves, ain't no telling. I did not watch him. I wasn't able to watch him play, so I can't comment on the state of his game. But we know he was playing great going into it. So, hey, let's keep trying to get him on. I'd love to hear what he has to say about it.
Absolutely. Let me update that leaderboard, because you know what? It's a very star-studded leaderboard. Probably going to be good for TV ratings. You got Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler and Tommy Fleetwood all tied at 9 under. Okay, if that holds up, you're going to have a heck of a Sunday. Jason Day is a shot behind at 8 under. Then there's Denny McCarthy and Austin Eckroat at 7 under. So that's a pretty heavy leaderboard. Rory McIlroy is tied for 9th. He apparently figured out his driver and everything else. 5 under after 71 today. And Lucas Glover is 4 under after a 67. Andrew Novak is 71. He's plus 1. Jacob Bridgman, 69 today. He's plus 2. Jordan Spieth had to withdraw because of I think they said a neck. He was dealing with a neck issue, so he had to withdraw. This is a elevated event. It means more money, and it means no cut. So everybody's in for the weekend. So I think we're going to look at some very low scores over the weekend, George, and probably a real shootout among these highly rated players.
Oh, yeah, and they do have a cut every now and then in these elevated events, and I did look. I haven't understood what that's about yet, but I'm glad to see. I don't see the purpose in a cut in an elevated event. And, yeah, and for Bridgman to be in, what a fine young fella, and really curious to see how he plays on the weekend. I've called in from this golf course on a couple of occasions, and that's just a great event. And Rick Clary, a buddy of mine from South Carolina, he's got a place up there very close to the golf course, actually on the course. And so we could fish in the evening, or I watched him fish. I'm not much of a fisherman, but Willie Lanier caddy for Wesley. And in that neighborhood, they know how to have a good time. And it is the golf, definitely a big part of it, but that's not what it's all about there in Hartford. Well, great place.
I checked. There is no cut in this particular elevated event. So all golfers who were there, all 70, I think it is. Let me check here. Looks like we've got a couple, two withdrew. So, 70 golfers are left, and they all will play the weekend. Before we talk about the Bryan Bros and some other things, I want to mention this to you because this wrapped up yesterday. Dawson Szabo wins the 67th SCGA Junior Championship. Played at the Forest Lake Club in Columbia. Wrapped it up yesterday. Georgie began the day 4 shots off the lead, and he goes out and shoots a 6 under 65 to win the championship. He had 5 birdies and an eagle to finish with an overall score of 9 under 204. Bennett Scaletta of Belton finished second at 8 under par. So the winner wins by a shot. You know these young men, and what a performance that is at a very good golf course.
Do not know these young fellas, but that golf course is spectacular, a lot of fun. I appreciate when any of these clubs give up their golf course. It's not just the 3 tournament days, but also there's a practice round. So, in Forest Lake is it's a fun golf course. I call it an old traditional style, but it's in immaculate condition. And I love it when the members give up the course like that. And, hey, I'll be looking up these. I got a lot to look up and get studied on. Where is the young man from that won again?
He is from let's see here. He is from Greer.
From Greer.
Yeah.
Hey, we're excellent. What year? What's his graduating class? Or can you see that?
It does not tell me in this particular story.
Well, I want to. While we're on the topic of juniors, I was at Newberry Country Club watched last week, and want to recognize a few of the good players there. Travis Gosnell shot 6 under par. He's from Fountain Inn, and this is with the Tri-County chapter of the SCJGA. The Tri-County chapter includes Saluda County, Newberry County, and part of Lexington County. And so in the SCJGA Hootie Summer Series, you can play from anywhere in the state, register in one of the chapters, and Newberry is one of my favorite places. Brian Summers, he's just a great golf professional, and they do a great job of hosting the event. And Gosnell shoots 6 under par from Spartanburg, and the boys 13 and 14. That was 15 and up. Ian Clark from Irmo is the medalist there. Hudson Ellerby in boys 10-12. Now, congratulations to young Miss Pitt and Miss Grayson Gibbons. They tied for the medal in the girls 11 to 13. Katie Culp, she is the winner in the girls. Let's see, I think that is girls 8 to 10. And sometimes I could be wrong on the age groups, but congratulations to these young players. And I want to go ahead and recognize a few of the players that I watched at Salina. This is at the club level. Wiley, Dumas, Owen, and Zipsky, they're net winners. And so in the club tournaments, they have a gross. That's no handicap. This is a 4-man captain's choice and a net. Let's see. And flight 4, Bass, Alexander, Carew, and Richter. They took the gross wild. Johnson, Chavis, Renula, and Smith took the net. So I love talking. Oh my goodness, we just dropped the ball on a hole-in-one. It happened. It's not here today. I'll pick it up next week, or I'll be looking that up. Let's see. Bill Dukes, hole-in-one on number 4 at Mid-Carolina Club yesterday, day before yesterday. Congratulations to Bill Dukes. But back to the third flight, and team of Middleton, Finley, Carpenter, and McMahon. they win the gross shooting 59. And then Wiley DeMott, probably said that, Owen Zitke, they win the net. So there you have it. Some club results. Oh, I got one more. We got Wilson, Doherty, La Pasta, and Stoudemire. They are gross winners in the second division, while Gray, and Gray are the net winners. In the top Division 1, Mohawk, Klein, Mazzari, Davis. They're the net winners, while DeMond, Capice, hold on one second, let me see. Martyr and Nolan are, excuse me, that was a whiff, complete whiff. Bowers, Singh, and Wise are the winners in the gross division. So I probably chopped that one up pretty bad.
That's okay. That's okay, George.
My eyes are going a little south, and my picture-taking ability is completely gone. I didn't have the right light. I'm looking at blurry photos. So
I understand. Let me ask you here while we still have some time. Your boys are going to be back in action. This would be Wesley and George number 4. Going to be back in action in Germany. You guys are going to Germany next week. What's going on?
Yeah, so apparently Wesley's eligible. He's suspended from the PGA Tour. And what's really unfortunate is he would have had he was fully exempt on the DP World. There was one minor problem. He did not fill his application out in time and missed the eligibility deadline. And all he had to do was fill out an application. He just whiffed on that. Did not realize that he was going to get suspended from the PGA Tour. But they did at least offer and sponsor the invite, and not just him, but his brother for this event, the BMW in Munich. So I've yet to go visit and watch a DP World event, and that'll be fun. In theory, my lovely wife Valerie will go as well, and hopefully we can figure out the time zone. I remember calling you once from a different country. We talked more than once. Different time zones, different countries.
And you woke up an entire floor. You woke up an entire floor in a hotel apparently in Italy or something one night. I think it was Ireland.
And they were hot. That was at a bed and breakfast. And the echoes, the old house, it was rickety, and I was you couldn't hear me, so I just kept talking louder, and I'm telling you, they about whooped me, cussing me, and it was just hilarious. The bros, I'm laughing, and they're cussing.
That's great.
Yeah, but we'll head over, and it'll be they leave the end of next week, so the following week, the week of the 4th, and look forward to that. So
it's not this coming week, it's the following week you're playing.
It's the week of the 4th.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
And let me mention before we run out of time, got about 4 minutes here, George. Of course, this segment, Birdie's, Bogeys, and Biceps, brought to you by Tsunami Bar Sports over on Crisp Road in West Columbia. Make sure you stop by there and see what they have to offer, because they have some great things to offer, including you got some new things that you guys are working on and developing.
Yeah, you're not going to find it on the website, but artificial turf, Sea Mountain synthetic turf it's a new division of the company, and I've never seen T-turf. That's fairway simulated turf that's anywhere in the neighborhood of what has come out in 2025. And we do have a scramble course. It's a 6-hole chip and putt that folks can take a look at possibilities. Backyard green, driving range mats. So athletic turf and gym really popular, and Williams Strength, Total Strength and Speed, and Tsunami Bar Sports has collaborated to put in weight rooms, which synthetic turf has been part of what we have done for years. But now there's unbelievable, not just the tee. It's called the Ultimate Tee. There's a putting green that is the absolute purest synthetic putting surface that I have seen yet, and it's going to be SM12. It rolls just absolutely as good as anything I've seen. And the 12 means stemp 12. It comes out of the factory rolling a 12. So you can't really find it on the website yet. We're previewing. This conversation is a preview, and obviously if you came to visit, you would stop right in the Tsunami Bar Training Center, which we have the magical technology that, in my opinion, is in it. And simply said, when it's used, you can reach in and find your golf swing magic. Nothing like it to address tension in the game and to establish rhythm and tempo. Bendable bar technology, TsunamiBarSports.com. There's some videos out. There's a little more explanation. If you go to that website, you can find it through your website too, correct?
That's correct. Right on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. Go over to the right side and just click on the link there to take you right to the Tsunami Bar Sports website, and you can browse around and earn a discount of 10% by purchasing through the website. That's a heck of a deal. Getting a 10% break on things that you purchase, like the Tsunami Bars, which, listen, if you're a golfer, you're an athlete, they are invaluable tools to help you not only get ready for your round and get ready for your ball game, but to help you stay in shape and stay flexible all year round. Right, George? You would advise people to use it all year round.
Nothing like it for warm-up, for what we call exercise snacks, coffee breaks. I was in Randy Brown's office about a little over a year ago, introduced the idea of just exercise snacks. I call them cognition ignition. Instead of a Coke and a pack of Shacks, try a little exercise, a Tsunami snack. So I also want to mention the Tsunami Bar Sports install simulators. So we build not just putting studios, but sim studios as well. And you can't find it too much on the website just yet, but the Tsunami Bar Sports has a design build division, and we'll be previewing in the coming weeks that as well. 720 Chris Drive, TsunamiBarSports.com. So I hear the music. Nothing like weekends in the summer, and I can't wait to watch some of this baseball. That was a great segment you did with Mike Morgan. Enjoyed it tonight. And Josh, I'm going to send you some videos, man. Phil, I enjoyed it. Until next week, tee 'em high, shoot 'em low.
Thank you, George. Same to you. Thank you, Chris. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thank you, Plummer. Plummer, remember to turn before you burn. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you Monday.